Some of you may recall a while back, I think in one of the later uni vlogs, if I recall correctly, that I said I would do some updates on the civil partnership. Rather than just waiting for the new academic year, there'd be something in the middle. I didn't do that because various things happened, one of which was Black Mirror dropping, and I know I don't have to do Season 6 just because I've done 1 through 5, apart from the little compulsive completionist bit in my brain saying, yes, you will. I had a few plans that I wanted to do, like, this time of year, but I can't really do that now. I can, but they'll be delayed by about 5 weeks. But I realised I hadn't done anything of this, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll do it as a catch-all and keep everyone up to date. And yeah, I'm fulfilling my obligation that I made. So the lead-up was marred, and I might have talked about it previously, by an issue with one of the witnesses that thankfully is now resolved. It was all done, fine. But a misunderstanding happened that got blown out of proportion, and a little bit of stubbornness, I think, happened, if I'm being honest. I really hope neither of them watch this. But yeah, something happened, like I say, and it created this block, but we dealt with it. And so the original witnesses we wanted were there for our day. That was great. We had close family there as well for the meal afterwards, because we didn't want the big... I probably mentioned it in a previous one, but if you haven't seen them, and for those who might just want a refresher because it's a while back now, we could have done a wedding and all that, fine, yeah, but there's a lot of things about that we didn't really appreciate, like the big expectation for a massive event. Well, why? What does it matter? And I know, like, if you want that, that's fine. I'm not saying for other people. For us, it was like, why? What purpose does that serve for us? We don't need that. We just want the legal recognition of our partner, of our relationship, and a unified family name that we can use moving forward without having to go through all deed poll processes and stuff. The tax allowance thing is also nice, but it was the benefits, it was the recognition, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't the day itself. The day just serves as a facilitator for those other things. So when opposite sex civil partnerships were allowed, we were like, yes, we'll do it. And I mean, there's also the cost, not just of the event, but whenever you're having a wedding, even the stuff you have to do, like giving notice and the registrant, all that kind of stuff, pound signs appear in their eyes. I swear. Everything is hugely inflated. At the moment, you still struggle to get civil partnership cards, so we're away from that being the same, but I wouldn't be surprised if down the line, civil partnerships and weddings are just as ridiculously overpriced. And it is. It's ridiculously overpriced. I'm not going to be shy about that at all. I think everyone can agree. But that was the thing for us. We just wanted this small scale thing. It didn't need to be a massive event. We just wanted people we cared about to sign it, and then close family, and then to have a meal afterwards, which went okay. There were some issues with that, but nothing's ever perfect. Free life tip: don't expect anything to be perfect. Don't expect to please everyone. A couple of free life tips for you. There you go. But yeah, so the event itself went off, and I felt a lot calmer after the day, but that might be because I had anxiety leading up to it. I don't know if this is just I don't have that anxiety anymore, so we'll see over time how it pans out. But then we had our honeymoon of sorts. I mean, technically, the first thing we did was for Amy's birthday, and the second thing was delayed for mine. And her thing was Call the Midwife, the tour in Chatham Dockyards, because she's been a fan of it for years and has constantly been at me like, oh, you'll enjoy it. There's social issues, political issues, psychological stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, we have an agreement. If the other person's recommending something, say a series, watch maybe 2-3 episodes, because you can't just gauge off one. You need to give it some time. If by that point you're really not into it, fine. At least you tried. If it's something you definitely will not like, obviously yes, but if there's any chance that you might, and we tend to not recommend stuff that we know each other won't be bothered about. I don't recommend superhero stuff pretty much to her. But yeah, so I gave it a go and I enjoyed it. So, because yes, whilst it's her birthday present, me enjoying it will help her enjoyment, because she's not worrying that she's just dragging me around to something that I'm not that bothered, especially a walking tour of 90 minutes. Me, who has mobility issues and energy issues, let's drag them around. So because I'm like, no, I'm interested in it and I want to go, we spent the day and it was really good. The tour itself was great. They theme it well. They're called midwives. the tour guides, and the one we had was great. I said so much to her, and she appreciated it. I've also done a review on TripAdvisor. The Travelodge that we stayed in, which was pretty much on top of the place, it was so close. That was really good too. We had an issue with Deliveroo. Never used Deliveroo, because if anything goes wrong, they really do not want to help you resolve it. They will try to close the chat. Where I worked in customer service, I understand how this is meant to work. The customer is the one who says, I am done, thank you very much. Not, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, so I'm just going to close the chat. Because she wasn't being abusive. I would totally have slapped her down, not physically. I would totally have told her off, there we go, if she was being abusive. But she wasn't. She was being angry, yes, but she wanted it resolved. Because an accident had happened, apparently, between the restaurant and the hotel. And they weren't wanting to refund her. But by the time that the food got to us, it would be cold and inedible. But they were saying, well, wait till the food gets to you, which is going to be cold and inedible, before you cancel it. I'm like, well, why don't we save everyone time and effort here? It had to be escalated after much pushing, at which point the manager did the same thing of, no, you can't do it yet, and I'm going to close the chat, before I gave some pointers and went, do this. And yeah, we got it resolved, and we did ask for a transcript in case anything went awry. I learned. But yeah, that was a small black mark, but it meant that we could actually try the bar cafe downstairs at Travelodge, and it was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed my pizza. Amy enjoyed most of the stuff. There was one thing that wasn't that great, but it was better than cold, inedible food from a restaurant the other side. So yeah, and then we had breakfast there as well, which is okay. It's overpriced because hotel food is, but it was fine. And again, the staff there were great. They were very accommodating, very, very welcoming. And yeah, it was a really good trip. We really enjoyed it. And then following on from that, my delayed birthday present was Sea Life Centre. I love fish. I love these kind of places. I love being surrounded by... I'm terrified by it. I think I have thalassophobia, like the fear of deep, dark water. But I'm also totally fascinated by it. It's awe in the proper sense. Awe is like, you know, you're amazed by it but terrified. That's at least how I understand awe. It's not like, awesome used to mean like, oh wow, not just like, that's pretty cool. Semantic shift. It's annoying. But yeah, so I have this awe of the sea and, you know, all that. And they have, it's the National Sea Life Centre in Birmingham. They have like a 360 thing so you can see underneath as well. Because most of these tubes that you go through, you can see all the water. It's you don't get the floor, but yeah, you're seeing like skates and all that kind of stuff on the bottom, and it's like rays at the bottom and the bottom feeders and all this stuff. Like, and there's a massive turtle that floats around there and huge shark things, and it was so great. It was a bit crowded. I mean, we tried to do it on, you know, a weekday, thinking kids won't be there, but you know, you got preschoolers. There's also 2 school groups, I believe. There are people with severe learning difficulties who, like all of those groups, it's hard to say, excuse me, I have a stick, I need a bit more space, because they don't necessarily understand all of that. But we managed, and there was a really knowledgeable guy at the rock pool, who I think it was nice for him to talk to people who are actually engaged. He was talking to us about sea stars. They're not starfish, they're not fish, they're echinoderms, I believe. Telling us a load of fascinating things, and I was riffing with him a bit, and it's clear that he knows the material so well. And like I say, he really enjoyed having adult, engaged guests at the place, because I threw out these little things as a little joke, and he ran with it and then went back into the script. Brilliant. What a guy. I forgot to get his name, unfortunately. But yeah, that was so fun, and, you know, sort of going through there. And then whilst we were still there, we went to a place called Otherworld, which apparently has branches up and down the country. I think there's one opening in Manchester soon, if I recall. But the one in Birmingham was great. We were greeted by you know, some great people who were very enthused about it. It's a VR experience. It's like a resort of the future. It's very much themed that way. And even when we were greeted, it's, are you travelling with us today? You know, and it was one of these last minute things. Amy just saw things to do because we had a lot of time spare. We didn't realise it would be so quick through Sea Life. So yeah, it was one of those things like, yeah, we'll do that, and it was fun. We're hoping to take our witnesses at some point as well, because I already have my Quest, as you'll know, I'm sure, if you've watched my reviews of some of the VR games, but Amy's never really done it, and I think in that setting she's fine with it. I think at home, because of the space, you know, and certain things you can do sat down, but for the most part, yeah, you know, having something that you can move around, like it's a pod, it's got wind, it's got rumble, it's got the things that help to mitigate VR nausea. Because I sometimes get it still. If I'm playing like Epic Roller Coaster and I don't have my fan on at the right position, the inner ear gets tricked and it's confused and it makes me feel all like my sea legs, are not coming properly. But yeah, it was really, really fun. And the one thing I will say, the Guardians, they call them, they're sort of remote people who were there, like as facilitators. They're meant to help you if you've got issues, but you have an option to call them up on a menu. But they sometimes just chime in out of nowhere, like they're constantly watching, and I'm a bit wary of that. I'm not entirely happy with that. I think leaving you to your own devices and being able to go, can I get some help, is better for me. It might be because it was our first time. I don't know if it'll ease over time. That is one bit of feedback. But like I say, both the members of staff there, Adam and Ryan, they were great. Very enthused, gave me some recommendations of VR games. I did say, my wallet is going to hate you for this. But the good thing with there is it's a self-service bar as well. So it's just contactless, you choose what you want, blah, blah, blah. But they have a virtual currency called Dreamcoin that you earn through playing the games and going through the resort, which then discounts the price of your drinks. It's a really good idea because you can just come in and use it as a bar, and it is a bit overpriced for that. But the point is to get you in, get you doing the VR, get you doing the Dreamcoin, and then they can sell the beer at a normal price. I mean, we did, a moderate session. It wasn't like too long, and we didn't do tons of stuff. We just did like 3 little games. And I had enough to knock it down from, like I say, an expensive price for a pint of beer to, that's about what I pay. So definitely fun. I also got to finally try Tim Hortons, and yeah, it's okay. That was the most disappointing part of that. Everything has to have something that's like, I guess. Although the train station situation was a bit weird. Both Chatham and Birmingham, we had issues, but like I say, don't expect perfection. The fact that these things happen, but we enjoyed ourselves, by and large, I think says everything. We've really had a good few weeks of, like I say, a celebration of us. We've both had delayed birthday. Actually, no, hers was early. Yeah, I've been cheated here. So my birthday present was like 3 months late. Hers was like a week early. But either way, we've had these things that aren't necessarily at the exact time because it's all part of this. And yesterday we capped it off by going and seeing Elemental, the Pixar film. Whether there'll be a video in the future, I don't know, because it's still going to be a week or so out from now. Maybe 2 weeks out from now, depending. But yeah, so will it be relevant then? I don't know. We'll see. There may be a video on it, so I'm not going to say too much now. But we capped that off day before from me recording this. And it was a nice way to just, that's it now. We've had our celebration. Now we go and live our lives. And when we first decided that we'd do the Silver Partnership, it was before the pandemic, we said that I hadn't got anything going on, so I would take Amy's name. Now I've got uni going on, so I've got all these things that I've got to inform that I never thought that I'd have to because they didn't exist at that point. So that's my next job. We've had this time off, and it'll probably be like the start of next week that I will actually get, it's scanned in for one and sent off to the relevant parties. I mean, some have already done it. HMRC have given us the allowance, the tax allowance thing, and it's updated on tax credits. They probably will update DWP directly, but we'll see. But yeah, there's stuff like insurance, there's the water rates, student finance, obviously uni. Yeah, banks, all these different things, credit cards. There's so much stuff. And I'm like, yeah, to every woman in history who's had to do this, I feel your pain. I am so sorry that, this is a thing that we have to do. But it's fine. It means that we have a unified family for, any potential futures, shall we say. And that's a good thing. But yeah, it's been really good. And now we start our life officially together. I mean, 11 years before doesn't count for anything, apparently. But yeah, in a legal way, we are now a unit. And I'm happy with that, which is good, really. All that time and effort and money, to a degree, invested. At least I'm happy with the end result. So before I say anything that might get me into a hole, because I've been doing that terribly today, I will leave it there. So thank you very much for letting me update you about this, and I hope it's been interesting to sort of see my journey with legally tying myself to someone else. So until next time, thank you for watching and take care.